Hello, nice to see you again. I'm in Cyprus, in Limassol. Behind me is the old studio building from Sat7. It moved recently, and here I used to work for 5 years, but it moved, and I will show you that in this clip where the new place is. The reason for the trip here is the Sat7 Pars Producers Conference, which takes place here behind me in this hotel.
Well, I'm going to talk about some things this morning.
Here we get the latest news from our channels and we talk about next productions. People from all over the world are here. It's really great to talk to my colleagues. Here are some.
Hello, my name is Petrus. I work with Paulus from 2009 until 2014.
My name is Panayotis Kinan. I'm the Executive Director of Sat7 Pars. Sat7 Pars is a channel that is broadcasting inside Iran, Tajikistan and Afghanistan. And broadcasting television is the safest way today to reach out to all those millions who are in need of our Lord's word, in need to find out who Jesus is.
My name is Maupulat Far and I was born in Iran, but right now I work in the Sat7 Pars London studios. I am a producer and director of the live shows.
Hi, my name is Nader Mohajer. I am Iranian from Canada and I'm here to have a partnership with Sat7.
And then on Thursdays there is a youth live show called 412, which is aimed for the 18 to 25-year-olds, and it's a brand new show and we are on the 3rd week of it.
Hello, my name is Kasper. I'm from Denmark. I'm working here in Cyprus in Limassol in the Pars studio as a camera technician, and for me it's such a privilege to be able to broadcast God's love to the Persian people.
Hi, my name is Parastu and I'm working on Sat7 Pars as a broadcast officer, and I'm having a live show for the kids. And what motivates me to work here? I love children and making programs for them.
Hello, my name is Shaheen. I'm from Iran and I was working for so many years with Paulus in Sat7 Pars as a producer and director of children programs, live shows and talk shows. And it was a pleasure to be in Sat7 because for many of the viewers, the only source of biblical materials and Christian materials is our channel.
Another reason for the trip is the broadcast manager meeting. I'm not a manager, but my manager invited me as well. We will meet in North Cyprus. Here is the border, so I better turn off my camera now. We just crossed the border and we are now in the Turkish part of Cyprus. In a broadcast meeting, it's all about technical things. Signal standards, the transfer to HD transmitting and so on. I used the opportunity to see an organization who offers training in video production. I want to help them in their next course as a staff. But of course, I had to be checked first. I have no answer yet if they take me. I will let you know later. If you want to be trained in video production, you can join the course. Most welcome. We are on the way to go to the studio now. I've never been there before. I'm excited to see that as well.
Back recording.
Ready?
Ready.
3, 2, 1, go.
سلام به همه شما دوستای عزیزم که الان دارید برنامه دختر من رو تماشا میکنید. خوش اومدید به این برنامه. شما پسرای من میخوایم عمو داریوش عزیز راست همه شما میشناسن که چقدر سروده و حرفای قشنگی
It was great in Cyprus. And now back to London, back to Gabi. She is waiting for me. And by the way, Gabi and I can join the video production course as staff next year. That will be March to May. More information you find on their webpage. And now, after the prayer requests, there is the interview with Joseph of Cyprian, the producer of Closure. For now, I say goodbye and give my regards to Gabi, please. Please stop the clip to fully read the prayer requests. I'm here with Joseph. He is the producer of the documentary Closure. And now, how is this film, this movie, related to your life?
Well, Closure is about this person who loses his father when he was just a teenager, and that unexpected event causes him with a lot of hatred and pain that he carries throughout the years, emotions and desire to revenge, seeking the enemy and all that. And in some ways it relates to me and my family's story, because I also lost my father when I was 20 years old. Unexpectedly, one day he left the house and never came back until we realized that he was stabbed to death for his faith. And of course, after that, there were other layers and seasons in our lives, dealing with the enemies and praying to forgive them, interceding for them, and praising God even for what God did through his martyrdom. So all of those were like lessons in a university. But the film Closure was mainly, the story was written based on one of the martyrs in the north of Iran, who one day received a phone call from a stranger that pretended that he wanted to learn more about Christianity. They decided to meet at a park. After 2 hours, his body was dropped off in front of the house for his wife and daughter to be found. So that was the main core story that we followed, but it was also very much based on a research that I did with other families of martyrs and their emotions after losing the father in the house.
How do you cope with forgiveness?
Forgiveness is a beautiful word. So many songs, movies have been made and tried to describe it, but it's a very messy process. It's like a surgery. For me, what helped me and my family, I think, was obedience to the Lord, to His promises that are found in the Bible, to pray for our enemies, as hard as it is. At times, the prayer may not come from the heart; it may be just moving the lips, saying the words. But I think that is the first step of obedience, that you tell the Lord that you are willing to take one step. And when you take one step, God takes 100 steps. And that is when the process of surgery in your heart starts. That's been what we experienced, that we started praying tearfully, angrily, emotionally, and it was a very hard stage for us, but at the same time it was a stage of healing, recovery, a stage that God slowly turned our hearts that was filled with pain and hatred into joy and, in fact, motivation. And as a result, a family that we lost, 2 members of family. My brother was also killed in one of the missionary journeys early on in their ministry. I won't get into that story, but I want to say, in our family, after this much sacrifice and paying the price, today we are spending 100% of our time serving the Lord, and in fact the same nation that took my father away.
How is this film influencing others?
This film, I think, because it's very real, it's not a cliche, because you can always do the mistake of expecting people to forgive or even forcing them to forgive as a Christian. I mean, even at my father's, I think, funeral, some people would say, Joseph, don't cry, be strong, this is, you're the man of God. But inside I was broken, I wanted to cry and I needed to express myself. So I think this film, because it was so real, it shows this person's emotions, even though he is a Christian, but he has hard time forgiving. And he goes through all these layers and stages of forgiveness. I think in that sense, the viewer accepted it as a very tangible experience. So a lot of martyrs' families and persecuted families, they contacted us and they said, thank you so much for telling our stories to the world. And that meant a lot to me because I felt I have done my mission right. But beyond that, also many Muslim people that were not even believers, they said, we apologize for what we have done to you. And it started a dialogue between us. Not only it was an informative about what's going on in the country, but I think it also started us to address the issues in the country.
How is the situation in Iran today?
Well, after my dad being martyred, there were several other pastors who were also martyred and killed for their faith. Today, still, unfortunately, there is persecution in Iran. There has been several years, thank God there hasn't been any martyrdom, but many people put in jail for years for their faith, their families, going through the pain and distance. And unfortunately, that's the reality of today. But I think at least movies like this were able to bring this chain of prayers and focus on the persecuted families so they can pray for them, support them, and allow God to work through this situation.